And today is a day where we just don't know where the buttons are, apparently. But today is Wednesday, October the 12th, 2022. My name is Jay Cleveland Payne. This happens to be a broadcast we're calling Things You Might Have Heard because it sort of stuck. Whether you're watching this live, watching this in a recording, or checking out the audio podcast later on, thank you so much for being a part of the family, checking out Things You Might Have Heard. We're going to have for you 8 news stories that were vetted by you guys, things that happened over the past 30 hours or so that are pretty conversational, things you can start your coffee chats with for the morning. So we'll get into that pretty darn quickly. I want to remind you that we have a website where we house this thing at thisisaconversationproject.com. So check out the website for more details on what's going on. And up in the corner, you can see links for the feeds right now. That's how we get the information for what we're talking about. So check those out and see if you can be a part of the show, going live about 5:50. A little late today, every single weekday morning. Let's get into the news stories right now. Keeping it pithy, keeping it moving as a tertiary news source. Let's move on to prosecutors drop charges against Adnan Syed in 1999 murder of ex-girlfriend Hae Min Lee. This is the murder that got all the love and attention from 2014 when the Serial podcast was out. Syed already being in prison for over a decade at that point, serving 23 or so years and in prison, released a few months ago, but on an ankle bracelet now charges are dropped completely. It's almost like this thing never happened, even though he spent 25, 24, 23 years in prison for a murder that DNA evidence is saying he could not have committed. Now, some of the issues surrounding this thing happen to be the fact that the family of Lee did not find about the dropping charges until they saw it on TV. Not a bad look. Prosecutor did not let them know on that one. And two, that means the murder of their daughter is now, after 25 years, unsolved again, which would cause some issues. Also, the Said family are getting apologies for what they had to go through for what's going on. Mr. Said decides that now that he's out of prison, he's going to go back to his education. A little bit delayed, and hopefully he'll get a law degree. We'll see how this plays out because it's not quite over, especially now they have to find a new person to charge in the murder. Our second story of the morning: University of Florida students protest say Republican Senator Ben Sasse poses threat, that's in quotes, as president. Yesterday, Ben Sasse, or 2 days ago, I guess, Ben Sasse went to the University of Florida where he is supposedly going to get a job as a president. He's going to resign from Congress essentially at the end of this year and take over the job at Florida at the beginning of 2013. He was holding a forum for students and faculty to kind of talk about what he could provide. And in the melee, in the process, in the whole shebang, students all around the campus held a massive protest. Now, remember, some students don't have a problem with Ben Sasse. Some students don't really know who he is, but some students believe him as the next president pose a threat and as having the right to assemble and have protests. They did it very loudly. Whether this will sway the administration on hiring Mr. Sasse, Senator Sasse, from this job, probably not, but we will see what comes about from this one as well. As LIV Golf heads to Saudi Arabia, Dustin Johnson has already locked up season-long individual title. The LIV Golf Championship is going to Saudi Arabia. The big shebang is happening for the LIV Golf first year of life. And Dustin Johnson is so far ahead, nobody can catch him. They're all playing for number 2 essentially right now, but they're all playing for number 2 in very big money. LIV Golf Tour has been controversial. It's been extremely in the news as called sports washing because essentially the Saudi Arabians washing away all the kind of dirty things they do by bringing the best golfers and putting on a good show. And since you have a good show, then you have, less complaints about what's going on. Same sort of thing happens, I know personally, because I'm a big fan of WWE. WWE puts in a very big, very expensive, very over-the-top they call them now premium live event in Saudi Arabia every year as a part of their Saudi season. They have like a month of celebrations that's more or less marketing. Same thing applies there. But the big story here is the fact that the LIV Golf Tour survived a year. I'm sure it'll be around for a while. They've got plenty of money to throw at these people. The people who have jumped ship from PGA or other independents to this tour, they're happy enough counting their money, so they don't seem to have a problem with it. Many other people have a problem with LIV Golf. Kaley Cuoco pregnant with first child with Tom Pelphrey. This is news breaking on the Instagram yesterday that Kaley Cuoco, from all the cutesy little blondie things she does, is now pregnant with her first child with her new boyfriend, Tom Pelphrey. Congratulations to Ms. Cuoco, and congratulations to the new family. And this thing will develop, obviously. Let's move on to another story, which is a bit more deep. Here we go. CNN forced to apologize after entering Thailand killing site. We have talked extensively about the man who went into the daycare and stabbed all the children and the adults working there. Talked a lot about the whole thing, and the angle mostly comes from the fact that it's a mass violence and things like this may be rare in other places, but it does occur. Something that sort of got missed and something that kind of stuck in the back of my head early on in this thing. The next day after the attack, CNN did broadcasting from the place, from the building. They did broadcasting and did recording reports, and doing some live shots from inside the building, even describing some of the gruesome scene that the cleanup had not been done. Obviously, Thailand police aren't like CSI in Miami and rope things off and don't let people in. And so CNN did a lot of reporting for a good day or so from inside of the killing site. And now they had to apologize for doing something that was overly crass and unnecessary. CNN having a bunch of issues with a lot of things these days, mostly trying to rebrand itself. We're going to see how the new shows are going to do themselves. But this is not helping, having to apologize for something that's pretty gosh in this case right here. Let's move on to another story that's pretty gosh, and it's Bill Murray being gosh. Everybody loves Bill Murray, but there have been all sorts of rumblings of things going on after his last movie, and just things that have been kind of going on, the whispers and stuff. People love somebody, but there's things people whisper about. Bill Murray kissed and straddled crew member on shutdown movie Being Mortal. One of the things that led to Aziz Hassan's losing of the ability to produce his first movie is bad behavior by Bill Murray. Bill Murray, who is mostly beloved by pretty much everybody. I mean, the Wu-Tang Clan had a clause in the selling of their big secret album that went to Martin Shkreli that it could be stolen in a caper by Bill Murray, and that's okay. Although Bill Murray never actually agreed to the caper, so that's part of the problem there as well. But Bill Murray acting extremely inappropriate on the set of this movie led to investigations into Bill Murray and led to less people loving Bill Murray these days. We're going to see what happens to Being Mortal. Maybe they'll digitally alter out Bill Murray out of the movie like they did the stuff for Kevin Spacey. They can do that now. But we do know one of the reasons why, or many of the reasons wrapped around things, is bad behavior, comments, and proof and showings, and knowing that Bill Murray kissed and straddled crew members on the stuff caused some stuff. Meanwhile, Blade, Marvel Studios pauses production, gets officially delayed. The new Blade reboot, it's a reboot because Blade's been done before, but now officially sucking Blade into, pun intended, the Marvel Cinematic Universe for the upcoming new revival. I mean, they redid a bunch of other stuff anyway. It's been delayed because there's no producer. There's now bad beef. All the stars behind it are a bit bummed about it, but it's not off the schedule yet. But the likelihood of this thing, well, it's not going to make the schedule like it's supposed to. Likely get it made is still there. They just aren't going to start production in weeks like they had originally had on the schedule. Marjorie Taylor Greene blames Democrats' policies for killing hogs from helicopter. You're going to have to actually read this one to kind of get the full gist of it. But Marjorie Taylor Greene went on a hog hunt from a helicopter, shooting feral hogs. And because of Democrats' policies, there are feral hogs running around in places that allowed for her to have to, or people in general to, go to helicopters and shoot them. It's a bit convoluted. It's Marjorie Taylor Greene, so it's all sort of whatever's in her head, and then whatever's in her head. But it's not. And the biggest problem is what she did. I've got no problem with their on a feral hog hunt from a helicopter. I've got no issue with that whatsoever. Feral hogs are a big deal, big issue, and the way to deal with feral hogs is to literally kill them. Now, some people believe it's not exactly a fair hunt to fly around in a helicopter to shoot them, but that's where the argument should be. Marjorie Taylor Greene blames the Democrats for feral hogs, and yeah, that. So this is our teaser story for today. We're going to post this in about an hour, maybe a little bit less. And if you want to talk about this one, it's simple. You just engage with it in our feeds when it goes live. Like it, love it, hate it, share it on Facebook or on Twitter. The headline is Damon Wayans Sr. and Damon Wayans Jr. will star in their own CBS multicam comedy sitcom. And if all they do is squint at each other and talk in really baby voices, this thing's a 10-year hit, guaranteed. But we want to chat more about what's coming up and how it's going to be played out. You just go to our feeds on Facebook and Twitter. You see them scrolling at the bottom. They're also in the top corner of the when we squeeze this back down there. They're on Facebook and Twitter. Every 50 minutes, we post a new story, and all you need to do is just engage with it throughout the day. The higher engagement, the higher score it gets. And at 5 in the morning, we pull all the stuff out of Facebook and Twitter, put it in a spreadsheet that gives you a true score. And then we cut from that on Tuesday through Friday, 15, the top 15 stories, pick 8 stories from that to give you on these days. On Mondays, we have about 90 stories. So we pick the top 30, and then we pick from them 10 stories to present to that. It's simple. Follow the feeds and get all that done at Facebook and on Twitter. Let's talk about Fundrise for a moment. This is a conversationproject.com/Fundrise is my affiliate link for the Fundrise platform. What it does is allows you to invest in real estate as if you're investing into a mutual fund or a stock or ETF. Other people will buy the real estate and manage the properties, and they do a pretty good job of it. So far, with the craziness in the market and especially the volatility happening now, Fundrise is still actually a positive investment. I have made positive money since I started with Fundrise in January. I'm in the black for my investment. Things have gotten a little rocky lately and things have changed, so it's not making as much as did early on. But Fundrise is still doing great investment work for you right now, and now's a great time to get into it. Even if the market does fluctuate a little bit, this is the way to diversify your portfolio. For the next 30 days, once you sign up, you're going to get free money. They're not going to charge their advisory fee. They charge a little percentage of what you put in to work your fund. They're also going to give you some extra shares of funds if you join right now. Check it out at conversationproject.com/Fundrise. You can put down, it's minimum investments. It's nothing major, but you can invest wisely and extend your portfolio into real estate, which has been safer for the moment than stocks right now using Fundrise. Check it out at conversationproject.com/Fundrise. Our website of notes, our main website, double the main website, double the goodness. This is conversationproject.com. Thank you so much for being a part of what we do here. Brought to you by More Better Media LLC. And what you can do at our website is you can see what we have to see. We have the newsletters and replays of the conversations. This is Conversation Project stuff. We also have links to sponsorship opportunities and partnership opportunities to help keep things going. If we're offering great content and great value, we hope that you will help us keep things along. You can find links to our YouTube page and our Facebook and Twitter, obviously, and our podcast. That's what it is, a podcast link. So you want to just listen to this in your car on the way to work. We drop the podcast about 5-10 minutes. It gets edited and put into the software, and it gets availability about 5-10 minutes after we're done with the recording here. So check all that out at conversationproject.com. Check us out for a link to our TikTok thing. Not doing much with it right now, but we're going to figure it out pretty soon. Promise. Today, October 12th is the day, and so we're going to celebrate birthdays for Hugh Jackman, who's about to get back into the scene with the spiky hair and maybe the yellow suit for Wolverine, or not Wolverine, for Deadpool 3, at reprising the role of Wolverine. And twin for his day, Adam Rich. That's a name you don't hear often because he doesn't do very much often. Adam Rich starred as the youngest child in 8 and Enough, and he is 54 years old today. Oddly enough, almost the same age, 52, is Kirk Cameron, who starred as a child star as well, not in the 70s, but in the 80s, as a teenager, as opposed to a younger child. So 2 child stars. Now Kirk Cameron's still doing his stuff and Hugh Jackman, who probably was pretty interesting as a child, but now Broadway guy and movie guy and Wolverine guy and that guy. Let's go on to today we celebrate, we enunciate, we do other adjectives to explain. Today is Moment of Frustration Scream Day. Now, I really, really, really wanted to go with Gumbo Day, mostly because I made gumbo over the weekend. But this is an interesting thing here. It's International Moment of Frustration Scream Day. So once you reach that moment of frustration, well, you don't necessarily have the right to scream, but you can scream. It's a day to talk, just kind of get that frustration out. Once you hit that moment where you can't get too more frustrated, that peak, if you will, that camel straw back thing, scream. Probably not in front of everyone, but scream. There's links to all this stuff and things you can learn about that to get deeper into it. But yeah, I should have went to Gumbo Day. I really wanted to. There's also like a pie day. It's a good pie that was there as well. But we do too much food, so we're going with Moment of Frustration Scream Day. If you don't like it, tell me in the comments. We'll go back to more food. Trust me. If you're the kind of person who likes to put away a baked potato as late snack, but think it could make you fat, don't worry. Should say speak with food, but there you go. A New Zealand nutritionist says it's a myth that eating carbohydrates such as potatoes, rice, or bread at night will make you put on weight. Nutritionist and dietitian Jenny Pierce said a person's total energy intake over 24 hours should be the focus, not the meal at the time that you eat. So think about it. If you are going to bed and eat a large meal full of carbs, you're obviously going to spend the next 8 hours. You do sleep 8 hours, right? You're going to spend the next 8 hours sleep, not doing any massive movements unless you're one of those guys, or like my wife, who basically punches me in the throat 3 or 4 times a night while we're sleeping. You're not burning too many extra calories because you're not doing anything else. You burn calories just by breathing, by living, but you're not going to burn anything excess. But just because you put it on before bed doesn't mean it just sits there forever. It's your overall intake and expenditure over 24 hours that basically works what's going on. So if you get a good workout and you wake up in the morning or before you go to bed, it's fine. Even eating the last minute snack is fine. Now, just eating it for the sake of eating things, yeah, that might be an issue. But you still have to look at your overall health and your overall fitness level, your overall activity, as opposed to just the late night snack. If all you're doing is late night snacking and not doing any activity, then that's what's making you fat. Those are words I just said. It's not Tuesday, and I knew I shouldn't have done that. It is actually Wednesday, October 12th, 2022. This has been Things You Might Have Heard for today, which is actually stuff from Tuesday, the 11th. Thank you so much for being a part of the show with us for this day. We love having you here, being live or recorded, or if like the audio version, check the links for the podcast version of this. You'll drop about 10 minutes after I'm done saying these words. Make sure you are staying hydrated, staying limber, and staying on task. Today, we hit this mark at under 19 minutes, so we're working our best to keep it down on time. A little less chatterboxy, and maybe a little less fun. You let me know if I should add more stuff or take more stuff. Right now, it's a toss-up whether the fact, the out-of-the-door fact, and the birthdays are bringing it to what we have going on here. I think it does. It adds to the morning show flavor of this. If it's not, we can make this an update and cut them around. You let me know what you think about. How about that one? So let's get ready for another great day, a perfect Wednesday. We have some rain coming into the area for the south here in Little Rock, some potential for some storms. So keep an eye on us as we get things going on. I'll keep an eye on you guys going on. You need to chat, reach out. We'll chat. I'm here. And I'm here posting new news stories every 50 minutes. Posting right now, or should have posted by right now, if you go there, is the story at Angela Lansbury, who passed away yesterday. And I totally missed that in all the news until I got started working on this one. And so we'll probably talk about that one tomorrow. That's one I'm almost positive that will get the attention to be in range tomorrow. But we'll talk about the weigh-ins, plurals, we shall see tomorrow with Things You Might Have Heard from the Conversation Project, brought to you by More Better Media, LLC.